Most wanted fugitive of the country, Matteo Messina Denaro, has been caught. The Sicilian godfather was Italy's #1 most wanted criminal. He evaded the police for 30 long years.
Matteo Messina Denaro is a name that strikes fear into the hearts of many in Italy. He is one of the most notorious and elusive criminals in the country's history, with a reputation for ruthlessness and cunning. Yet despite a massive manhunt and years of investigative work, he has managed to evade capture and remain on the run. But who is Matteo Messina Denaro, and what makes him such a dangerous and compelling figure? Join us as we delve into the world of Italy's most wanted criminal and the ongoing hunt to bring him to justice. Let's begin. Meet Matteo Messina Denaro, one of the Italian mafia's most powerful and notorious gangsters, currently one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. Denaro, also known as Diabolique, was born on April 26, 1962 in Costa a town located in the province of Trapani, Sicily. His father, Francesco Messina Denaro, was a prominent member of the town and had ties with the mafia. Growing up, Denaro was surrounded by guns and criminals, giving him access to a gun at the age of 14. Denaro's rise to power and notoriety was swift and brutal. He became one of the most ruthless men in Italy, boasting of filling an entire cemetery with corpses by himself. After taking part in a bloody fight between two sides in 1989, Denaro rose through the ranks of the Cosa Nostra, eventually becoming the head of the criminal organization. However, in the same year, he had his first encounter with the law, being accused of murdering Nicola Gonzalez, a hotel owner who had complained about mafia activities. Denaro's cruelty knew no bounds. He once ordered the strangling and dissolving in the acid of the corpse of a 12-year-old boy, the son of a traitor, after keeping him captive for 779 days. His heinous acts of unjustifiable evil and cruelty made him a fearsome enemy. In 1992, Denaro was part of a mafia group under the orders of Salvatore Riina, tasked with silencing anti-mafia judge Giovanni Falcone. On May 23, 1992, Falcone was killed in a car bombing near Palermo, a devastating blow to the Italian justice system. A year after the Messina Denaro tragedy, the notorious criminal struck again, this time targeting Vincenzo Milazzo, the head of the rival Al Camo clan. When Denaro arrived on the scene, he killed Milazzo and strangled his 3-month pregnant girlfriend, further cementing his dog's reputation. This series of chilling crimes slowly turned Cosa Nostra into one of the most feared organizations on the planet. As the head of the Castelvetrano clan, Denaro was a key ally of the Corleone SC clan, on whom the famous godfather of the movie saga was based. However, on January 15, 1993, following the arrest of Salvatore Riina by prosecutors Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, the Cosa Nostra embarked on one of its most brutal terrorist campaigns. The remaining mafia bosses, including Messina Denaro, Giovanni Brusca, Antonio Glory Giuseppe, Leon Lucia Bagarella, and Gioacchino La Barbara Meta, devised a strategy to force the Italian state to act. With the help of other families, they carried out a series of bombings in Florence, Milan, and Rome, resulting in 10 deaths, 93 injuries, and damage to several cultural heritage centers, such as the Youth's Gallery. Following the bombings, Denaro completely disappeared from public view, beginning a 30-year flight from justice. According to investigators, he spent time in a hideout between Aspera and Bagaria between 1994 and 1995, with his lover Maria Messi, under the full name of Matteo Cracachilli. However, evidence suggests that Denaro's appearance was little known, and police had to rely on computer reconstructions to identify him between 1994 and 1996. During his decades as a wanted man, Messina Denaro managed his affairs by communicating under the pseudonym Alessio through the Pazzini system, which involved leaving messages on small pieces of paper. His whereabouts and activities during this time were a complete mystery, and some rumors suggested that he had undergone plastic surgery to make himself unrecognizable and avoid capture. In November 1998, following his father's death, Messina took over as the head of the La Castelvetrano in Mandimiento and the surrounding areas, while Apicenzo Verga ruled over the town of Trapani. However, when Vergi was arrested in 2001, Denaro saw an opportunity to take control of the mafia in the province of Giappini, which had 900 men. As a result, he managed to reorganize 20 mafia families in Japan into a single command, separate from the rest of Cosa Nostra. Today, this group is considered one of the major pillars of the Sicilian mafia and is among the most powerful families in Italy. As the police struggled to track him down, Denaro continued to expand his power and increase his wealth through an extensive extortion network, forcing companies to pay him for protection. Not satisfied with this, he also engaged in international drug trafficking, which caught the attention of the FBI. Although most of his income came from illicit activities, Denaro also had several legitimate businesses, including a chain of Sicilian supermarkets. However, not even all the money in the world could stop Denaro from continuing his misdeeds. In 2000, his mistress, Maria Messi, was arrested after police found love letters exchanged with the criminal, and she was sentenced to 3 years in prison. A year later, on May 6, 2002, Denaro was sentenced in absentia to life imprisonment for his role in the 1993 bombings. While other security forces continued to wonder about the criminal's whereabouts, as the years went by, people began to lose hope that Messina Denaro would ever be captured. Finally, in 2007, a clue made the police realize they were on the right track after finding documents linking Sicilian supermarket kingpin Giuseppe Grigo to Denaro in a hideout of former Cosa Nostra leader Bernardo Provenzano. They discovered how the mafia laundered its money. So on November 18, 2008, Italian authorities seized 700 million euros in assets from Giuseppe Grigali, traceable to Denaro. The list of assets seized included 24 businesses and 220 real estate properties, including villas, apartment blocks, and 133 land properties. In 2015, Teresa Principato, an Italian prosecutor who was pursuing Denaro, stated that the notorious gangster had managed to evade capture for so long because he had powerful protection at a very high level. Although she did not clarify if she was referring to the mafia, politicians, or institutions, it was clear that Denaro must have had influential allies to remain undetected for so many years. Despite being on the run, Denaro continued to conduct high-level business internationally, moving to countries such as Brazil, Spain, Great Britain, and Austria, and returning to Sicily sporadically. Despite the difficulties of tracking him down, the Italian police were determined to bring him to justice and put an end to his reign of terror. The manhunt for Denaro was complex, but thanks to telephone interceptions of his relatives and cross-referencing of data on cancer patients and a false name, his whereabouts were eventually discovered. The operation was coordinated by anti-mafia judges in Sicily and a group of committed police officers from the Caribbean area. Prior to his capture, investigators had been conducting an intense investigation into Denaro's whereabouts for 3 months. They analyzed conversations with his family and discovered through jokes and hints that the godfather of Castelvetrano was seriously ill and had recently undergone 2 surgeries in the Sicilian cities of Massala and Paloma. Unfortunately, one of these surgeries had to be carried out during the COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, after years of evasion, Denaro was cornered and brought to justice, thanks to the dedication and persistence of the Italian police and their allies. The information obtained from the intercepted conversations was recorded in the Ministry of Health's central office, where all cancer patients' data is archived. This clue was a crucial element in catching the mobster. By comparing the obtained information and studying all the patients, investigators began to filter the list by age, sex, and location until they found Andrea Bonafede among the suspicious names. Unfortunately for Denaro, he made a crucial mistake that ended his era as a mafia leader. Although he pretended to be Andrea Bonafede, the police knew the real Bonafede was somewhere else. On January 16th, the police waited for Denaro, disguised as Bonafede, to attend a chemotherapy session at the Mattellini clinic in Paloma. When he saw the police, he made no attempt to resist and identified himself as Matteo Messina Denaro. This is how the most powerful man in the history of the Sicilian mafia was finally captured and is now on his way to stand trial. What do you think of this most wanted criminal in Italy? Comment below and subscribe for more.